the TV era, basically going all the way up through, at least 2000, 2004, is how I would define it, was a soundbite politics. And this is a really core fact that we sometimes forget. This graph is simply the length of television soundbites starting from 68 going up to 96. And you can see it just craters. Am I in your way? Where should I go? You can hear me even if I'm off stage, so maybe this is better, right? Yeah. You can just see it just craters. It's rather extraordinary to think that in the late 60s and 70s, a politician would get 40 seconds to make an argument that would be run on network news. And there's certain kind of arguments you can make in that time. When getting up into the late 90s, you're dropping to 6 seconds, right? So even our word soundbite actually is open to some contested arguments, because if by soundbite I mean 30 or 40 seconds to explain what you want to do about the war, well, that might be an okay soundbite. I mean, it gives you a hint, and then you can go try to learn more information. If by soundbite I mean 6 seconds on the war, I mean, you know nothing. And that's how our television routed most of our national politics, in the recent era. I argue that it presumes basically a simplistic and apathetic electorate. It affects how you organize. It affects how neighbors answer the door and what they think when they understand politicians and politics and all the local issues that might be on the table. And I love this Einstein quote, "Everything should be made as simple as possible, but never more so." So some issues you can drill down, and when you are working the phones, you do want to have that core message, and you do want to have a core explanation of what you're trying to do, why it matters to someone. And there's nothing wrong with having a sentence or two argument and a longer one, and some things can be made that simple, but other things can't. And what we see with Barack Obama, an improbable presidential candidate on a number of levels, was that they needed more than sound bites. They needed more than a sentence to make their case to a lot of people that might have been initially skeptical or had never heard of the guy with the funny name, as he calls himself. So a lot of what they did was use this intention and interest in Barack Obama to disintermediate. So they routed around that soundbite press. They addressed the public directly, first recruiting support and then mobilizing and organizing people to act. And I think what's really important, I'm going to show one example of this today, and then we can talk, and I'll be sticking around, we can talk more about it in our discussion, but they really used the web on a number of platforms, not only to shape their media coverage, which matters, because as we all know, if you have a rally, you have a protest, and there's no media coverage, then most people who weren't there don't know it happened. I actually don't believe that means it's the same as if it didn't happen. Chuck Schumer always tells his staff, if I didn't get press coverage, it didn't happen. I don't think that's true, and I don't think most of us in the room would believe that's true, because we do care about people-to-people contact, but media validation plays a role. But they not only shaped their media coverage, they also replaced it with their own content and their own networks. And that is something, again, that can be relevant at a local level, even if you're not working with someone as amazing as the Matrix Obama there. That's not a real photo either, in case anyone's excited.